One day, like any other, I decided to take a look at a scrapbook that my grandmother gave to me as a gift for my fourth birthday. She crafted the book in chronological order, starting with my great-great-great-grandparents and gradually reaching to the latest members of our family tree, myself and my first cousins. The practically ancient pictures from my late ancestors were heartwarming. However, something else wasn't that heartwarming. The captions inside the pictures from myself and my cousins. What diverged me from my cousins was that I am the only female amongst them, and although many say that modern gender inequality is not predominant and not even existent in childhood, the captions from these pictures proved extremely otherwise. To prove that, on one side of the scrapbook, there was my cousin dressed up as a doctor and with a stethoscope, and the caption stating that he was going to attend a patient. There's no problem in that. However, in the next page, there was me brushing a doll's hair, and the caption stating that I was brushing my daughter's hair. Even though it is completely normal to women want to have children, and there is no harm on just having children in general in this concept, just myself and my cousins just being limited to our minds being narrowed to only this limited set of toys, and myself not being open to a stethoscope and my cousin not being open to a doll. This encourages complete sexism. And yes, this might seem as an insignificant attitude toward gender inequality. Maybe you're just thinking that it's nothing wrong, it's just a family scrapbook. Well, that's where it goes wrong. Children, as it is evident, extract everything from the people around them, mainly from their home and how they were raised. And also due to that, children make even the smallest factors from their homes to culminate to their entire lives. Eventually, toys just make up their entire lives and encourage them how they're going to be adults. My scrapbook, in my case, is a perfect example for this. Parents throw toys that are more forwarded to childcare and housewifing at girls, encouraging the stereotype that they have to be women that are more inclined to such deeds, such as housewives and only mothers, just limiting their mindsets to these, and automatically neglecting the option that it's not the only option for the women to be housewives and mothers. And yet the society is still convinced that biology is why women are so wanting to be mothers, and if they don't want to be mothers, they're outcasts, blaming everything on the motherly instinct. Since a scrapbook ideally represents the entire life of a person, I am going to show you how one little factor about a little girl's lives can negatively draw her to the sexist society of today, as if it were actually a scrapbook, from the beginning of a girl's life towards the end. To start off anyone else's lives, the first thing that a family brings to a child is toys. Furthermore, the first thing that a family does when just someone becomes pregnant is to determine that baby's gender, just so the entire trousseau may be ready. Pink for the girls, blue for the boys. Since the beginning of a girl's life, they already have a limited set of toys, most of them being dolls, small toy laundries, and even cupcake makers. With these toys shoved down their throats, the little girl is discouraged to explore what is beyond their just limited reality. If a girl sees a toy that the society encourages to be a boy's, like a stethoscope, for instance, or a toy car, and picks it up, she is automatically rebutted that this is a boy's toy and she is not supposed to be playing with it. Therefore, as I said frequently before, her mindset is just completely narrowed, and therefore it's just making just women be repressed in the sex society. Subsequent to a girl's childhood, her, surrounding, her surroundings influence her towards boys. Oh, how are the boys? Says my aunts. How are your boyfriends? Did you find a boyfriend yet? Still disregarding the fact that sometimes girls just don't want to be with boys at the moment, or ever. Being a girl completely encompassed with male cousins, myself, I have become very open to that classical sexism. I have to behave perfectly because I'm a girl, and it's part of the girl's duty to be perfect. And boys can make mistakes, actually, as many mistakes as they want, because boys are boys, and there goes the most used expression of the century. I got told I don't even know how many times that boys were supposed to take easy on me because I was a girl and that they should always open doors for me and push a chair for me when all I wanted was to be treated like another human. I didn't want to play slow. I could play rough just like the boys. I wanted freedom, not protection and to be treated like an asset. Simultaneously, as girls are educated like that boys like you. Simultaneously, as girls are educated that boys like you if they treat you badly, jealousy is important and it means you're useful, which is completely wrong. This justifies harassment. This justifies any other mind-blowing facts, such as abusive relationships, both romantically and non-romantically. Eventually, this makes good guys for bad guys, and this does not start nor end well. Eventually, girls grow up and they go through a hellhole, also known as puberty, already being awful without outer interference. This boys will be boys schism also make girls normalize harassments and blame it all on puberty, as if going through puberty for boys is an excuse for sexualizing girls, and as if being prone to puberty for girls is an excuse for older men or even younger men to be sexualizing them. Being through puberty or not, actually. When a girl gets harassed in the streets, at school, or even at home, and finally gets rid of the shame of telling someone about her grotesque experience, often the advice she receives is to just let it go. It's part of growing up. Eventually, girls start normalizing catcalling and other types of harassment. It's still part of growing up. Now, this is the part that scrapbooks never show. Harassment, objectification, girls taking in all of this imposed on her and normalizing grotesque acts, and eventually just making everything normalized. However, there is a way of stopping this vicious loop, being awakened by how a small act can impact one child's entire life. Luckily, some enlightened souls that have already been harassed ceased normalizing the act and started believing in victims. This also comes with compassion. Think about your daughter as if it's not yours, it's the world's, and be open about everything that she may do, regardless of her gender. With only this thought in mind, the root of gender inequality will be forever snapped.